Corey has the program today. Corey?
Thank you, sir. So as many of you know, I used to serve on the board of the Family Resource Center. In December, I sunsetted off after 2 terms. But one of the things with the Family Resource Center that I've liked, especially over the last couple of years, is really the evolution. Some really good board members, some old board members who have really gotten engaged. But one of the most impactful things I think that I am proud of for my 6 years on the board was finding a new executive director after the previous one had left. So I've asked Brad Hoblitzell, who has presented here before, to come and speak on behalf of the Family Resource Center. There's a lot of changes that have happened, many for extreme positive, but also I wanted the membership to have the opportunity to hear how people are being helped throughout the extended pandemic. So when I will hand it over to Brad, and he is willing to give a short presentation and answer some questions.
Let's everybody mute if you would.
Absolutely. Thank you. I'm sorry. I got to write a quick voucher here. It'll take me 2 seconds, and I apologize for that. I just want to say it is a privilege to be. Can everyone hear me okay? Just give me a thumbs up. I want to say, okay. It's a privilege to be with you again. I think the first time I had the opportunity to speak with you all, it was maybe just a couple months into my time with the FRC. A little bit about me. I've been an Oxford resident for about 12 years, involved with a lot of different things in the community, a lot of coaching with the high school, middle school, youth level. My wife Cynthia and I, we have twins who are sophomores at the high school, Henry and Hannah. Took the position at the Family Resource Center on April 1st, 2019, which was, I think, a fitting day for myself. But and that was after spending about 20 plus years in a director role with a faith-based nonprofit. I think what drew me to the FRC position was the opportunity to serve our community. We fell in love with Oxford. My wife and I first fell in love with Oxford as Miami University students in the 90s, and then the opportunity to move back here 12 years ago. It's just been a great place to raise our kids and be a part of this community. But we wanted to serve this community, most notably the under-resourced and most vulnerable members of our community. In our family, the ideal of service is held very highly, and I was excited to take this position with little knowledge, honestly, of the challenges that were before us. And that was both internally as an agency, honestly, and also externally. There were so many challenges that none of us knew what we were in store for. Our agency, myself personally, we've been the benefactor of a very supportive and knowledgeable. Hold on 1 second. Let me hand this off. Just write her name and her address there, and tear it all off, and we're good to go. Give her both a white and a pink copy. Right there where it says name. Yeah. No, our address is on the bottom.
So as Brad's taking care of that, you can see it's nonstop.
Yeah, I apologize. I'm sorry. So we've had a hugely supportive and knowledgeable and encouraging board of directors. They honestly sacrificially took the reins for several months, directing vision and services when there was no director. And so I always, I think we all stand on the shoulders of people who come before us. And so I'm greatly thankful for the board of directors here and the previous staff and folks who've here. But we've morphed a lot. We've changed a lot, even in the last 2 years. Since I was last with you, we've been able to double our staff. Which is incredible and a huge benefit to the work that we're doing here. Just to run through our staff, Nicola Rodriguez, she actually started about a little bit over a month before I did in February 2019, and she's now our client services manager. And then we have hired, since August of 2020, have hired 2 new folks, Lindsay Houlihan and Heather Rowe, and they are working with in client services. Lindsay's a licensed social worker, retired Miami professor, and Heather, we hired Heather as client services with a special attention on housing needs for our clients. We also have several volunteers, community volunteers who do help out in a variety of ways. And we generally have anywhere from 2 to 4 Miami University interns from the Social Work and Family Studies program working with us. That has been, that's kind of who we are as a staff now, you know, February 2020. Our vision and mission, that's something we've been working on as an agency with our board over the last year. Our vision is big. It's to eliminate poverty in our community. And our mission in doing that is to create a safe and healthy community by advocating for those in need and connecting them to resources and services. We have a new logo. Let me see. I should have had one close by. I mean, it's a Venn diagram. It's 3 circles together, and it's not just a logo. It's really who we are. We're connectors. We want to be a connector. We want to be a bridge builder, and those circles represent the 3 things that I think we're called to focus on here at the Family Resource Center, and that's assistance, resources, and advocacy. Assistance, you know, we look to provide assistance to clients who are experiencing financial hardships. That's rent and housing, utility, document, prescription, among other things. We also resources. We aim to provide the proper resources to each client for their unique situation. You know, that's partnering with other agencies, community entities, organizations. You know, obviously food stability with the TOPS and the food pantry here in town, Butler Behavioral Health, Social Security helps, disability, Oxford Seniors, many other Butler County agencies, shelters, rehab centers, all the like. And the third thing I mentioned was advocacy. We want to come alongside our clients to encourage them and to help ensure that they're given the support and direction that they need and deserve. Helping them have a voice or acquiring their voice to better their situations. And a lot of times that involves advocating to themselves for themselves, really helping them understand what they need through education, through employment, through many different ways. So as we all know, you know, I was kind of getting ready to finish up my first year here, kind of understanding the lay of the land of here, what we were doing, and then, you know, kind of thinking, okay, second year, you know, we move and we grow from there. And then March happened. And we all know that all of our lives changed drastically in March. You know, so our response to the pandemic, and I think it's been a pretty fun story to be a part of. It's been pretty, fun's a weird word to use there, but it's been exciting to see, you know, the position we were able to be in. You know, as soon as March happened, we started to ready ourselves as an agency. You know, we were our board and some members of our board, we sought to raise more money for the agency. You know, private donations, grants. We knew that the need for emergency financial assistance for many of our clients and people in this community was going to grow. It's going to increase greatly because of sickness, economic shutdown, lost wages, lost jobs. If we were going to have an impact we knew that was going to have a huge impact on our community. You know, at first I thought, okay, whatever we did in housing, we're going to have to at least double it. You know, whatever we did in utilities, we're going to have to double it. And, you know, the actual numbers prove that we had to do more than double it. But we wanted to put ourselves in a position. So we started that work. At the same time, TOPS, you know, the Oxford Choice Pantry, moved into our vacant buildings last April and began delivery operations. And now have opened their front shop for the Oxford Choice Pantry for folks to be able to shop there by appointment. There's been huge benefits from us co-locating together. For one, just so much of our clientele are the same folks, and so we're able to like combine our services a little bit. It's a short walk from building 1 to building 2. If someone needs to get on a food plan, or if they come inside and all of a sudden they realize there's someone who's in need of financial assistance or to get signed up for or different things. So also it's been an opportunity to have some vision together. And so one of the things that we realized kind of early in the pandemic is that we're better together. We have a lot of great agencies, a lot of great organizations, a lot of great groups here in Oxford. We actually started meeting in the summer, myself and Ann Fuhr with TOPS, Steve Schnabel with the Oxford Seniors, Sabrina Jewell, and just started collaborating vision, dreaming big, because we were all seeing so much of the need that was around. It's those conversations really readied us at the end of the summer to have a plan when the city of Oxford approached us about what we could do with possible CARES Act funds if they were made available to us. And so that really, the second half of 2020 for us was being involved in the CARES Act, some of the CARES Act funding from the city of Oxford. And I would say this, I'm extremely thankful for the vision of our city government, city council members, and thinking proactively and getting some of the local agencies involved with this CARES Act funding. I think there was a fear at one point is if they could spend the CARES Act funding, and but by involving agencies, we were able to do an incredible amount of good work, not just the Family Resource Center, but with many different agencies throughout our community. So we were actually the benefactor of $142,000 in CARES Act funding. It was interesting. It started off with an ask of what would you do with $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, and then as the conversations began to roll, things began to develop. With that $142,000 for the last half of 2020, we kind of instituted 5 programs. I'll kind of run through those and a little bit of what we did. The first one was an evictions and credit repair program. The second was a child care. I'll explain that. Evictions and credit repair. As many of you probably know, if you have an eviction on your record, it is incredibly difficult to find housing. And so we wanted to help families who were in a position to help rid their eviction history and then help fix some of that stuff through some legal aid and some processes. And so we worked with 2 families in that situation for about $3,400 to help their situations. And one is now gotten housing, and the other one is working with us in another one of our programs I'll talk about later to get some more long-term housing, hopefully very soon. The second program was child care and educational services. We knew with the strain of remote school and the strain of law, all these different things, there was a great need for some child care support. And so we spent about $11,000 in child care vouchers. I had one of our Miami interns kind of help me with the program and working with Mini University and being able to provide childcare for some families who were in need, so that a parent could get back to work or gain employment, so they could further their income and put themselves in a healthier position family-wise. We also spent about $600 in remote learning help. We have a very close relationship, work really hand in hand with Talawanda School District, especially with the success liaisons, which are the social workers that work at each of the elementaries and the high school and the middle school. And so we knew we would find of many cases of where there was a need for, there was no more hotspots, and there was need for help paying an internet bill for families, so that the student could get on the internet and actually go to school. There was one student that we had to help get into a better situation so they could do remote learning, just different things. And then also through our partnership with Tonawanda School District, we've worked with an organization up in Dayton, Ohio called Shoes for the Shoeless, which is an organization that provides new shoes to students and kids in need in our community, And so we were able to acquire 200 brand new pairs of shoes for students in our community that our social workers and teachers are helping find, and kids need shoes. And so actually right across from me in our office, I have a huge closet full of and it's a little less than 200 now, but a lot of shoes that we want to get on the feet of kids who need them. And so that's been a fun and exciting program. It's kind of new, like, it's not just hand-me-downs. It's not just that. It's it's a brand new pair of shoes, and to know some of the kids are so excited. And we coupled that with a lot of shoes with Christmas for some of the families that we were serving as well. So that was our child care and educational services. We also had transportation. We know that transportation is a huge need for some of the under-resourced folks here in Oxford. Many are trying to get their employment or trying to get education or whatever, and transportation stands in the way. And so we were able to help 11 families get their cars repaired in conjunction and in partnership with a couple of the car repair places here in town. And we were able to help some families get their cars back so that they could continue their jobs and continue doing some things. We also acquired transportation here for the Family Resource Center to help with client services, to help with different programming. That's coming. It's already been extremely helpful just in the last couple of months because of some of the things we're doing now, working with folks who, and I'll talk more about later, our winter shelter and some different things, but having a way to transport people in a safe and in a good way, and also be able to get things around and do different programming. So the fourth thing is our emergency financial assistance, and that was the biggest piece of the pie as far as the funding goes. And a couple of the smaller things, we help with some prescription assistance for some people who were having trouble, where we're not able to get the medicine that they needed. We also did some document assistance. Many folks that they couldn't get, driver's license, things of that nature. We also had, the biggest thing though was our utility and our housing assistance. We provided exactly $16,233.90 in utility assistance to over 64 people in our community. And that was to keep lights on. That was to, those were, almost all of those cases were cases that were facing disconnection. And then the number that still staggers me to this day is we spent $52,883.23 in housing assistance for over 76 families in our community. And this was the bulk of what we did, especially the last few months here. So $52,000, roughly about $700 per family. We had many families who were multiple months without employment, multiple months behind, facing many of these cases. Almost all of these were at eviction or heading towards eviction, which, one of the things, we talk a lot about homelessness, and we talk a lot about homelessness in our society, in our community. And I think one of the biggest things we can do is homeless prevention, and that's what we really felt with our housing assistance. The last program we had was our winter shelter. Winter shelter and shelter in general. We were able to provide hotel stays and shelter for 26 families and individuals outside of our winter shelter. But we also had through the conversations with our through the conversations that started with the CARES Act funding, we were able to enter a pilot program with the city. I'll go into that more in detail in a minute, but we're able to start our first 2 months of our winter shelter and transitional housing program. So I want to talk a little bit about that here for just the next couple minutes, and I won't be too long here, but that is really something that we have learned a lot here in the past few months. So if you didn't know, developed initially, like I said before, from conversations from the CARES Act, what became an official pilot program in partnership with the city of Oxford. We sought to do 2 things, and that is a transitional housing program, which is long-term stay, help families find appropriate and affordable housing in our community. We currently have 2 homes that we are using for this year, where we are able to cover the rent and some utilities to provide opportunities for families to put themselves in position to find long-term and stable housing. So currently, we have been serving 2 families in this program. One is a single mother with 6 children, and one is a couple with 5 children. And so big families, hard to house, hard to find affordable housing in situations like that. But we've been working with them through their situations, and that's more of a long-term situation where we're case managing and working with them and getting them in a position so that we can get long-term housing. These were both families that were on the verge of homelessness or homeless. The one we were in a hotel, homeless, and the other one was on the process of getting evicted, and that was one of the eviction situations that we were working on. The other program is our winter shelter. So many of you may know or may not know, but November through the end of February, we have provided a winter shelter. We have 6 rooms continually reserved at one of the local motels here to be used by us to provide shelter for those who are without. So I'd say that it started slow in November, and one of the reasons is it wasn't fully approved funding wise, and so I didn't want to get over my skis too much. We didn't want to get over our skis too much, but we started conservatively in November. We ran, but once we had approval to move forward, we started running. And for the month of November, we ran at about a 63% occupancy rate. So 63% of those rooms were filled every night for the month of November. In December, we ran at 116% occupancy rate. So we were getting more rooms. January was 99%, and currently in February, we're running at about 129% occupancy for the rooms that we have. So we've gone and gotten additional rooms, and obviously that's kind of spiked here with kind of the last couple of weeks and the bitter cold and the cold that we've had. Our current total, like as of today, we've been at 96% occupancy for the entire program. So this is really, one of our biggest hearts with this is we don't just want to be a place where we're kind of bringing people in and then having them go out and whatever. We're really trying to case manage, and this has been a little bit of the struggle and friction for us. Is we want to case manage these folks. We want to be able to, we want them to leave that situation into a better situation, not just hop to another shelter, not just hop to but really working with them on, okay, employment, your employment, income, working with them on a lot of times with on finding housing, linking them to some resources that they may need, like Butler Behavioral Health. We've worked with Self and their jobs program, and have another jobs program starting here in a couple of weeks with Self through Butler County. So we want a case manager. We want them to move forward. We want them to, seek these different things. We have been working with HCRP, which is Homeless Rapid Rehousing Program, and an organization called Family Promise in Butler County, to help attain housing for some of the folks. And they have funding that can help with a down payment or a deposit and first 1 or 2 months rent for some of our folks, and they can do that anywhere in Butler County. And then we've also, as an agency, have been trying to do that for folks who find affordable quality housing, appropriate housing here in Oxford. So we've been benefited greatly from those programs, the HCRP, and now using the Family Promise. HCRP can kind of work with any Family Promise is specifically for people with children. And so that's very dear to our hearts. We do not want children. Children need to be in homes, and we really hold that dear. Kind of through this whole process of learning this winter shelter and kind of all of this, we've benefited great with partnerships with the city. Like I said before, TOPS. Whenever we get someone new into the motel, we immediately got a food box from TOPS on the way to them. We have lots of, many folks in the city have donated. We've accepted donations of warm things like blankets and winter stuff and winter clothing. And so we've been able to get folks in those situations, get folks help with Butler Behavioral. Area churches have been extremely, extremely supportive. So thankful for that. So we've really learned a lot. This has been a pilot program. We're hoping, I'm hoping that the numbers that will show themselves that this is something that we can do in the next year, and who knows what we might have a long-term solution in that, but at least for the time being in these cold months, providing cold shelter is huge. The largest cold shelter in Butler County is one called Shalom, and they didn't operate this year, and that's in Middletown. So there was not a lot of options for homeless folks. Many of the homeless shelters all through Butler County were continually full. Many of them had to go on quarantine and couldn't accept people at different times. And so being able to provide the service to folks here in Oxford. And we've also, I'll say this too, it's been great. We've had incredible support in this from our police department here and our community, and just their understanding what we do. And even right now, they know if they find someone in the middle of the night, they can take them straight over there, and we can get them set up and then figure it all out in the next day. So we've really tried to figure that out, especially here in the last couple of weeks with the cold. So I'll kind of wrap up here, and if there's questions, I know I just verbally threw a lot out there, but kind of reiterate, we really see our focus here with the Family Resources in those 3 areas of assistance, resources, and advocacy, and that fleshes out a lot here now for us in the areas of affordable housing, employment benefits. And I do want to say this, one of the biggest things is we view every case through the lens of self-sustainability. And that is really our hope. So we want to make sure the folks that we're helping, that we can have a plan, or some folks that we help, we know, especially with the pandemic, they were out of work for a significant amount of time. They got set behind, we could overcome that hurdle, and now they're back with employment, and it's good to go, and then we can move forward. And it's a one-time thing, and we can really look at self-sustainability. But also, there's something that's more of a process. But we're trying to make steps over and over again towards self-sustainability, because we don't want to, we want folks to kind of achieve those things and be able to move forward and live healthy and safe lives and good lives. So that's the lens we kind of look through everything with. we were able to do, because of the CARES Act funding, a lot more. We typically have certain limits. We don't, I wish we had a money tree I could go and shake in the back of our property here, but we know that's a limited thing. So the CARES Act funding was incredible benefit to us to be able to really make some big time differences with folks. I just want to thank, kind of in closing here, just to thank you, to the Rotary, and many individuals. There's many individuals in this group who've been a huge support and encouragement to us, and working in this community. And so I'm just completely thankful for you all and what you do for our community. I know I said a lot there. If there's any questions, I don't know how I did on time. I was trying to.
All right, Brad, you're fine on time.
Great. Well, I'm open to any questions or any clarifications if need be.
Hey, Brad, this is
Lee.
Lee Fisher. Thanks for all you do for those people that we don't often see or we don't often know about. But I have a specific question about household furniture.
Yes.
And the family resources ability to handle that. As an example, before we came south for the winter, I was approached as a resident of the Knolls by two families who were stuck, quote, with a house full of furniture that nobody in the family wanted or needed.
Yeah.
Are you equipped to handle that kind of situation if someone wants to say, we want to donate all of this household furniture to the Family Resource Center?
So here's how we've handled that. And I don't know, I don't think we'd be equipped to handle households of furniture. Before, a couple of years ago when the Family Resource Center had the store, and we had, the back building, which was just full of kind of stuff and furniture and things. We kind of had some space. Now that Tops is operating out of here, we really don't have that space to really hold things. So what we've done is, if we know of a situation of people who need furniture and people are calling to donate furniture, we try to make matches. We've done a couple times this year where we've rented a U-Haul and we've gone around town and picked up stuff. We had to populate both of those houses. We talked about transitional homes with furniture that we did through donations through people, but we don't really have a place to store things. So we've kind of done it on if someone comes to us and we kind of know if there's needs that are out there that we can get it to. I mean, and we've also put things out with a lot of the churches, especially the Methodist Church and the Presbyterian Church have been extremely helpful, and jotting them an email saying they were looking for a bed and they go out and find a bed, or something of that like. So that's kind of something that's been a little bit of a struggle. Yeah, I'm sorry, Lee.
The reason I asked that is I think Rosemary and I donated some of our excess furniture when we first came to the Knolls because the Family Resource Center at that time had a truck to come to pick it up. Am I right about that?
Yeah.
That's before me, but that's probably ShareFest. Corey, you could probably.
Yeah. So that was likely ShareFest,
Yeah.
which took a hiatus, but I learned last night at planning that it will come back in limited fashion moving forward. That's traditionally the last week or two of Miami's spring semester. I will say, because prior to Brad getting there, I was chair of the board, and we made the decision to stop the store because, candidly, it's not a secret, it was costing more money. The return on investment was not good, and resources were better spent elsewhere. So we did talk, and Brad has worked with Salvation Army, and they will, obviously, with capacity, be able to take things, but to Brad's point, it's become more of an ad hoc situation.
Okay, do we have another question? Brad, first of all, thank you for all you do for the community. Sometimes your stories are really hard to hear. and for all of us. In honor of your discussion, your talk today, we'll put a book in the Lane Public Library. And please keep us in mind if you have needs for your
Yes.
organization. We'll help however we can. Thanks again. Everyone, let's give Brad a hand, please.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Brad, you can stay on or you can hop off, whatever you'd like to do. So,
Okay. I might stay on for a little bit. I probably should check to see if how things are going. But yeah, I'll stay on for a little while here.
that's fine. That's great. Hey, Nathan is on.